Hey kids, it's Mr. Hammond, and today we're going to be looking at ecological relationships. Now, you may not be on the same page as me, and that's all right. You work on the page that you need to work on. I'm going to be using a Sharpie, but I need you to use a pencil. I'm using a Sharpie so that you can see things well. The title, we're going to put ecological relationships. We're going to be looking at three major sets of relationships and drawing some pictures to help us remember them. First one we're going to look at is predator-prey. Predator and prey. So we're going to draw a picture for this. And in the middle, we're going to have three different pictures here. So I'm going to draw a miniature food chain, but I'm not really going to, well, I'll add the producer, but we'll start with the little producer right over here in the corner. So we'll make some grass, some type of producer or plant that begins a food chain. And then next to it, we're going to draw ourselves a little ant or some type of insect, a generic insect that's eating that. So we'll draw three little circles like that. I'm going to put a little antenna on this guy and some legs. There we go. And I'm going to draw an arrow showing that he's the one getting the energy by eating the producer. Okay, and I'll label that as insect. Okay, so far, no predator or prey relationship. However, on this next one, I'm going to draw a picture of a bird. So I'm going to put a big old eyeball. And then I'm going to put a little round eye there. Going to go around and draw myself a head with a beak. Put some leaves on this. Okay, here's my bird. Put a little weird feather. Okay, and the bird eats the insect, so we're going to draw an arrow going from the insect to the bird. Now we have a predator-prey relationship because the bird is the predator and the insect is the prey. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put prey here. And over here we have a predator. But it doesn't end here. Yeah, the bird's the predator because it eats the prey, and that's the relationship we're talking about. But the bird could also have another predator. Let's say it's a cat. So I'll draw my crazy cat. Put a little nose. Put some jowls. Have some crazy looking whiskers coming out. We'll make some ears. I'll make some crazy hair. Have some ears. Here's my crazy cat, okay? The cat could eat the bird, which means the cat becomes the predator and now this guy becomes a prey. So in this situation, we have a prey who's being eaten by the predator, the bird, but the bird can also be a prey who's eaten by the predator, the cat. So some organisms out there can both be predator and prey. Now, this is not a negative relationship. This is a relationship that keeps populations steady. And it's a relationship that goes in a cycle, all right? So we're going to go ahead and write a little sentence about that. Prey and predator relationships go in cycles. Okay, what do we mean by that? Well, if you have a population of prey and you have a population of predators, and this could be any predator or prey relationship. I'll get my trusty pins out here for this. let's say that the predator relationship or the prey, they start out strong, but then they see a dip in their population, okay? Their population starts to go down, okay? Well, if the predator or the prey relationship goes down, the predator relationship is going to follow going down because they depend on the prey. Let's say the prey relationship starts to go back up because there's less predators. They start to gain in population and get bigger, and there's more of them. Well, if there's more prey, then that means it's going to be an easier feast for the predators, so their population is going to start going up. Well, as the population of the predators goes up, well, then the prey are starting to be eaten until too many of them get eaten, and their overall population starts to go down. Well, as they lose members, well, eventually there's less to hunt, so the predators start to lose members too, and they begin to go down in population. And this cycle continues, constantly going up and down, and the predators kind of following suit. Okay? That's what we mean by cycles. When there's not enough prey, then the predator population rebalances itself because there's not as much to eat. All right. The other relationship I want to talk about is something called competition. All right, competition is anytime you have organisms competing for the same thing, and it actually happens a lot out in nature. I'm going to move my notebook up a little bit so you can see this a little bit better, okay? So competition is just organisms or species of different species fighting for the same resource. And those species that have the best adaptations usually win that battle. And this isn't a bad thing. They can even be of the same species. For example, you have two plants in a forest. They're both competing for sunlight. The one that is able to get the most sunlight is going to survive, and the one that can't get the sunlight is going to either die off or just not have as big a population. And that's not a bad thing. It's a reason why when you go to certain ecosystems, some plants grow better in ecosystems than other plants because they're just more fit or they have the right adaptations for competing against the other plants. So for this one, we're just going to go ahead and draw a picture of a tree. I'll make my easy tree. Put a little grass there, okay? Put my little Y, and then basically a tree is a stick with a big cloud on it. Okay, there's my tree. And then we have another little plant down here trying to grow. And he's got a little grass. And we're gonna have the sun shining. And he's saying, hey, can I have some of that sun? They're competing or fighting for the same resources. So competition, I better draw an arrow here. When two or more organisms are fighting for the same resource.